Hello, everybody, and welcome to this new Astro Woo for the month of September. I'm Julie from Maison Jupiter, and I'll be your co-host for today's show. And I'm here with the amazing Meg Moonbeam. How are you, Meg?
I'm good dealing with this Mercury retrograde, as I'm sure a lot of us are, but just trying to laugh through it, move through it. Yeah, how are you doing, Julie?
Same, good, but I just spent like 2 hours on a phone with the bank for like fraud. So I'm
Oh my
feeling
God.
like it's also a common theme also for this Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So everybody that's listening, make sure that you check your account, your credit card reports to make sure that they're all okay. Your passwords are safe, all that kind of stuff. Your devices are backed up. So just some common, routines to make sure are under control for this Mercury retrograde. But other than that, feeling good, feeling good. So we'll go through this wonderful Astro Woo for the month of September. So we'll tell you about like all the main energies in the astrology. And for the second half of the show, Meg will go through all the 12 zodiac signs. So make sure to tune in for that part as well. And you can listen to your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. And let us know also in the chat and in the comments which one resonates the most. And yeah, so I feel like this is going to be an interesting month. And most importantly, I'm very much looking forward to Mercury and Venus going direct for the month of September during this wonderful Virgo season. So, and happy birthday to all the Virgos, of course. And towards the end of the month, it'll be Libra season. So then it'll be happy birthday to all our beautiful Libras from the community. Oh, we have a lot of people in the chat. Hello, beautiful Carla. Happy Monday. Yes, yes, you're right. It's Monday. Hello to you, Libby. Hello, Yoga Elena is here. Thank you for this amazing show. Thank you. And I saw,
Coco's here as well.
yeah. Hi, Coco. So it's super nice to see you. And before we dive into the main content, please make sure you like this video if you enjoy this content. We try to provide you with the most original content as we can, so it really helps us out. And also don't forget to check out, if you are indeed subscribed to the Maison Jupiter channel and to the Beyond Mystic channel. We are simulcasting on both channels today, and we are also simulcasting on Beyond Mystic's Rumble channel, I believe. So let's hope it all worked out.
Julie, sorry, just one moment.
Yeah, no problem. Meanwhile, we have a beautiful candle from Yoga Elena, from Elena in the chat, for one of you lucky supporters with the super chats. And you can also provide a super chat from the Maison Jupiter channel. And today we'll be giving out a beautiful Beyond Mystic Air candle. So I think it will help out with all the retrogrades because Mercury is an air planet. So this is the air candle. The fragrance is magnolia. It's a beautiful, beautiful scent. It's my favorite. And the crystal that's infused is an emerald calcite. So very good for relationship and the heart chakra. And also we have a Venus retrograde. So I'm sure you guys are feeling this very much, the need to have this Venus and Mercury energy rolling in with us as best as we can. So this is going to be the candle for today. And also don't forget, if you'd like to book a one-on-one consultation with Meg, our beautiful astrologer, you can do so on maisonjupiter.com. And don't forget to enter Beyond Mystic in one word. It'll give you a 10% off your next reading. So this is going to be, of course, a general reading for all the 12 zodiac signs and for everybody from the community watching. But of course, if you'd like to have more personalized predictions and more help in understanding your birth chart, you can do so with Meg during a one-on-one consultation. Okay, so first, I'll use this one. Yeah. So we'll start with the important dates for the month of September. So as I said, it'll be Virgo season. So as we're filming this, we are in Virgo season with this Mercury retrograde at the moment, and also Venus retrograde. So it's interesting that after September 23rd, we'll be stepping into Libra season, and the ruling planet of Libra is Venus, which is also retrograde at the moment. So Virgo, Libras, Gemini, and Taurus might be feeling it a lot more. Maybe you feel some stagnation in some areas of your life. I do, personally. I don't know about you, Meg.
Definitely.
Yeah. And you're also a Venus ruled, right? Because you're a Taurus rising. So yes, I feel you, my friend. So I feel like this is going to be a beautiful release. And as soon as both Venus and Mercury will go direct at two different dates during the month, we'll feel like those areas that have been stagnated will start moving forward again. So that's very positive. Very looking forward to that. So I wrote here some answers regarding Mercury and Venus themes and things moving again. So very positive about that. So September 3rd, yay, my birthday. So Venus will go direct, but for my solar return, Venus is retrograde. So that's like, let's hope it's going to have this Venus direct effect rather than the retrograde. And then on the next day, on September 4th, Jupiter will go retrograde. So we'll look at what does it mean for your own zodiac sign later on when we look at the 12 signs. But generally speaking, I don't say it's not good nor bad because it's an outside planet, Jupiter. So it affects us a little less than, let's say, the personal planets like Venus, Mercury, Mars. So it's a bit, I don't feel like we'll feel this influence as much as a Mercury retrograde, for instance, but you will certainly feel a change of direction with what Jupiter rules in your life, in your own birth chart. And we'll get to that with the 12 zodiac signs. So a reversal of situation of some kind or a change. And then on September 14th, we have a new moon in Virgo at 21 degrees. Very beautiful new moon. Shortly after, we'll have the Mercury going direct. So yay, very happy about that. And then on September 23rd, we have the equinox. So for the Northern Hemisphere, it'll be the fall equinox. And for the Southern Hemisphere, the spring equinox. So a change in season, and it'll be the start of Libra season. So the sun moving into the Libra constellation. And then on September 29, we'll have a full moon in the sign of Aries at 6 degrees, which will be interesting to say the least. I think and I'm curious to see what you'll say about that, Meg, but I feel like it'll be a little preview of what will be going on during eclipse season in October. So I think this one will be kind of intense. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree with that. It's conjunct Chiron. It's a lot of funky stuff going on with that one. So good for us to be prepared for that. For when
Yeah. Yeah, well said, well said. So we'll get into, of course, the new moon and then the full moon. I have prepared a slide for you. But before we do so, I'd just like to remind everybody watching that we have this beautiful event coming in 2 days' time from now. It is the Pisces full moon singing bowl meditation with Elena, Janine, myself, and Jean-Claude. So you can register now on beyondmystic.academy. This will be a very intense full moon that we're having on August 30th. So in just 2 days on Wednesday. And the meditation will be on the day of the full moon. So this one will deal with a lot of releasing because it's in Pisces, the last of the zodiac sign. It's a full moon, so completion energy, and it'll be conjunct Saturn. So it's very possible that a lot of people are going to feel a bit depressed or isolated. So that's usually what Saturn does, especially when it's conjunct the moon. And I feel like the best expression of this full moon is doing some healing work, some sound healing, because it's in the sign of Pisces, which rules sound healing. So I feel like this is probably one of the best way to channel the energy of this full moon. And if you'd like to join us please do so on the Academy right now. And it is a sliding scale donation principle from $22 to $122. So you give what you want and what you can. And if you are experiencing financial difficulties, please send us an email and we'll make sure you can join with us, because we all know that group meditation are really powerful. So we want to see you there. And oh, Jean-Claude is there as well. Did I see that right? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oops.
We're trying to put the comment at the same time. He says, what a crazy batshit crazy month. Yeah, but I agree, JC, but I think this is the preparation for the really crazy month that'll be, in my opinion, October.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about September, generally speaking, Meg?
I actually feel like the whole rest of the year is going to be very, very intense. And I feel like from now until September, in just a few days when September starts, to January 20th, 2024, when Pluto goes back into Aquarius, I'm just feeling energetically, looking at the charts and feeling it. We're in a huge initiation time, intensity time, with so many of the outer planets retrograde, and then that eclipse season in October. So I think, yeah, it's going to be batshit crazy, like JC says, in September, but October will be really intense. And then it's still going to be lingering until, I feel, until Pluto goes into Aquarius.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Same feeling as yours. And I feel like certainly the financial system is going to, I don't want to say collapse, but it might collapse around October. And we know, like, generally speaking, with stock markets, October is generally the month where stuff happens. And plus, we have the USA Pluto return, the last one that is going to be in October, plus 2 eclipses, and the last one in the financial axis. So for sure, I think something very intense in October. And I feel like September with the Virgo season is like, make sure you have your shit together, basically, as we've been saying before we were recording this video. So Virgos, the sign of get your stuff together, make sure you are in order, make sure your papers are in order, make sure you are prepared. So this is a month of making sure you are ready for the changes that we don't know what is about to come. Yeah, Elena's saying very intense energy for this full moon. Yeah. After the weekly meditation last Friday, I was crying and releasing a lot. Yeah. So I haven't done it yet, but I heard this was like a really, really good meditation that Elena did on last Friday. Very an emotional release. So if you are feeling a lot of, let's say, emotions coming up at the moment, I feel like it's very normal. And maybe it's a good idea to do this meditation before even coming into the full moon meditation, which will be on Wednesday. So this one's a free one on the Beyond Mystic channel. Okay.
Right, Julie?
I'm sorry?
That's the Beyond Harmony.
Yeah, exactly. Beyond Harmony. Yeah, you're right. Beyond Harmony from Friday. So the guides were giving us a lot of healing pieces, I feel, before the big full moon, which will be a lot of releasing even more. So it's probably good to, go at it step by step. Yes. Okay. And Carla saying it goes well with the crazy year we've been having, I guess. Yes, because some people were saying there was hurricanes. Jenny, Alicia, hurricanes heading to South USA. Yeah, I really hope we're going to be okay and you're going to be okay in the south of USA. Praying for you. Meg, can you pull some cards for the general energies of September?
Sure. I'll pull some of my handy dandy astrology cards.
Yes.
Let's see, what's the general energies? Wow, okay. Whoa, intense. Very intense. So we've got the progressions. This is a type of astrological transit that we won't explain right now because it's a little bit technical, but it's about moving forward, having to go through life, the changes in life. And then we've got the opposition card and the Scorpio card. So Scorpio being the most intense sign in astrology, things being revealed, intense situations, releasing toxicity, things coming to the surface, and opposition. So there's a lot, there can be confrontation. What Spirit's making me want to say is, yes, there could be with other people on the outside confrontations happening, but more so actually what I'm feeling is like inner confrontation because there's so much changing right now. There's so many things changing in the collective, uh, us initiating into the age of Aquarius, that there's a lot we have to release and let go of, whether you're a truther, whether you're conscious, it doesn't matter where you're at. It's not easy. So I feel like we can navigate this with Scorpio's healing practices and really getting to the bottom and the truth of things. So I've been feeling that a lot in the personal consultations, like the need for whether you see a therapist or you go get a sound healing session every now and then or a massage, whatever it is where you're being nurtured and you can feel safe to release what you need to release. That's very, very important. But we're moving through it. We're not blocked. We're not stuck. It feels like we have to go through September and I think until January where it can feel really intense. So, wow.
That makes a lot of sense. And like we're also in the northern hemisphere entering fall. So fall season is usually a season of transformation where we shed our old skin to transform into a new us. So it makes sense also with this Scorpionic card, which is all about transformation and becoming a better version of ourselves, which is also Virgo related. So
Yes.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meg, for that. Let's step into our first lunation of the month, which will be on September 14. So we'll have a new moon in the sign of Virgo at 21 degrees. So you can locate where 21 degrees of Virgo fall in your own chart. So you'll know what house is going to be activated with that new moon. So a new moon is usually a new start, an opening of new energy somewhere in your chart. So it's going to activate one house. And in the sign of Virgo, so very generally speaking, it could be a new work, a new routine, a new good habit that you're integrating in your health, in your lifestyle, a new healing modality that you're trying out. So that will be very much supported by the universe because new moon, new stuff. And I like this one because I feel like Mercury is pushing this one with a very positive energy because it's stationing to go direct right at the moment of this new moon. So the next day, so a few hours after this new moon, Mercury is going to go direct, which is the ruler of Virgo. So that's why Mercury is so important here. And whenever a planet is stationing to go direct or retrograde in the sky, it's very much emphasized. So you're going to see a lot of mercurial themes coming up in your life around this new moon. So really try to channel it in the best way possible for you. So to do mercurial type of activities and try something new, open up a new chapter. So you're really channeling the energies of the sky in the most beautiful and positive way for you possible, then rather than let the universe decide, is it going to be good, is it going to be bad, so I feel like channeling in a conscious effort this mercurial energy will be very positive. So, and it's funny that you had the Pluto card because Mercury, which will be very, very emphasized at the moment of this new moon, is at 8 degrees, stationing about to go direct. So it's going to stay at 8 degrees for a pretty long time, which is the Scorpionic degree. So whenever Mercury goes direct, we can have revelations, new information coming out that has been hidden from us in the past. And as I'm saying that, I'm seeing 333 people live with us. So I feel like it's a good confirmation message for communication. 333 is all about communication, messages. And because it's a Pluto degree, so it might be like big revelations, important conversations about the past. It could be past secrets being revealed. So yeah, I think something quite big could be happening, or big news could be shared around that new moon. So, as I said earlier, start something mercurial in nature with a fresh new perspective, or it's a good time also to tackle a problem with a different approach, a different mindset, which is totally Virgo and mercurial in nature. Also, Mercury retrograde at the moment of this new moon opposes Saturn also retrograde. So, more, let's say, on the world stage, I feel like the Operation C word here, propaganda, is back, but might be facing more opposition because it's an opposition. So it's not going to be necessarily easy. But for sure, I feel like health themes are going to come back very strongly in our field of awareness. So either learning about people passing, illnesses. So that's really on the, let's say, the sad part about that, but we got to mention everything because it's in opposition to Saturn. But I'd say it's probably like the worst aspect of this new moon, because otherwise I think it's a very positive one, and generally speaking. And the new moon is trining Uranus pretty exactly. Great time to implement big changes in your work, in your daily routines, health, because Uranus is all about making changes. It wants evolution, doesn't want stagnation. So it's a really good time to implement those changes and to do something different. So I was saying earlier, try something with a fresh new perspective. So if you do that, I feel like you're really using the energies of this new moon in the best way possible for you. And another one that I was feeling very strongly is try an alternative healing method. So if you're having some form of issue with your health, something coming up, it's a really good time to try something new. And Virgo also rules alternative healing methods. So either natural products or healing, energy healing type of stuff. And Uranus is related to energy healing. So if you'd like to try, let's say, a new Reiki-like treatment session, it could also be acupuncture. So do an energy healing practice, super positive at the time of this new moon in Virgo. And then lastly, new moon will trine Pluto, which is also very, very good, and also very good for healing. So that's why also I'm talking about try something new with a healing modality, because Pluto can be miraculous healing, something very fast happening, especially with a trine. And also it can be really good financially speaking if you're having your stuff together. So getting rid of debts. So that will be a really good thing to do at the moment of this new moon, or try to, let's say, start the process of getting help with healing, strategizing with work, finances, and also it could also correlate with really positive change in your work, in your routine, and into making more money, because Pluto's a financial planet. And some people also might even have a promotion. So I'm feeling like this new moon, generally speaking, will be very positive. Of course, there's a few difficult aspects, especially the Saturn one. So really try to channel this energy in a conscious way into what you'd like to create, birth around this new moon. How do you feel, Meg, about this new moon in Virgo?
I also really like this new moon, other than the Mercury opposite Saturn, but that's okay. We can deal with that. I think that there's some kind of really big information can come out around this new moon, because it's right when Mercury is stationed direct in a home sign. So I think there's going to be a lot of truth coming out, which hasn't that been a theme for the past whole 2-3 years. But I think there's going to be really big information coming out, and maybe this could even be the new month, the new moon or lunation, where a real deal healing modality comes out for something that a lot of people have been dealing with the past.
Wow, that would be great. That would be like the best manifestation ever.
It's exactly pretty much trine Uranus, as you said, which is alternative healing modalities. So I think there could very likely be something come out that's very, very positive for those who decided to get a certain, medical procedure. I think there could be really good news in regards to that. And just truth in general. And I agree that the governments are going to try to do something funny, but people are going to be very much like, hesitant,
Yeah,
which is
because
good.
of the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I might have forgot to add, but both Mercury and Uranus will be very highlighted at the moment of this new moon, and both rule the mind.
Yeah.
So I feel like your thoughts are going to be super important. So make sure you are focusing on what you'd like to manifest. And I'm reading a lot of comments in the chat, and people are like, oh, I don't want to manifest this. I don't want to manifest that. And I feel like you're totally right, especially when Mercury is so emphasized, to be really focusing on visualization of what you'd like to manifest in your life. This will be very important.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to add before I move on to the next thing on our list?
I don't think so. I think you covered it really well.
All right. So so that was September 14, new moon in Virgo. So shortly after, we'll have Mercury moving direct, a few hours later on the 15th. And then September 23rd, Sun moving into Libra and plus the equinox. And then at the very end of the month, let's talk about the full moon in Aries, which is going to be quite interesting, quite interesting. Okay, so we are always very positive, but whenever something is intense and has challenges, we will be straight up and we'll tell you the real deal. So I think that's the case with this full moon in Aries, which will fall at 6 degrees of the sign of Aries. That'll be on September 29th, so at the very end of the month of September. So I wrote a very intense eclipse-like full moon with emotions running high. So first of all, a full moon is intense in nature because we often feel like very emotionally, I want to say triggered, but that might not be the best word, but like we're usually feeling like a lot of emotion. And plus in the sign of Aries, which is like the warrior sign ruled by Mars, so very fiery sign. And 2 weeks after this full moon, we'll have an eclipse in the sign opposing this full moon in the sign of Libra. So I'm feeling like those two have a link together, the eclipse that we're going to have in this full moon. And why it's so intense is because the ruler of this full moon, which is Mars, is going to conjunct the south node. And both Mars and the south node will square Pluto, and Pluto's squaring both nodes. So we're still under, for the rest of the year, under this T-square with Pluto and the nodes. But this time around, Mars, which is the ruler of this full moon, will join the T-square with the south node. So bringing a lot of karmic stuff from the past, even from past lives, coming up. And both Mars and Pluto are very rebellious planets and very intense, I want to say, for lack of a better term, in the way that they want change and they want, let's say, to get rid of stuff that is no longer aligned. They do it in like a very intense and drastic way usually. So let's start with the first point here. So 6 degrees of Virgo degrees. So I wrote here completion of what was started at the previous new moon in Virgo. So on September 24th, when we were talking about the last new moon, I feel like this one is also connected with this new moon. So it will have some form of completion to what you started mid-September. Also, it could be an event relating to health, to work, because it's a Virgo degree. And also something happening with with either health or work could happen also on the world stage, because Aries, part of the world axis, the eclipse that we'll have in Libra is also part of the world axis. So it means that a lot of stuff are coming out on the public stage for the world. So and it could be here linked to health. Also in traditional astrology, Virgo was linked to war, to all sorts of diseases. So I just want to mention everything, but of course, we will try to direct this energy in the best and most positive way for the highest good of all. I'm just here stating some possibilities. So I wrote here open warfare, nuclear attacks, rebellions. So these are all possibilities, but of course, let's hope that's not the case. it could be people rebelling against the system for their financial situation, because there's going to be a lot of changes with the financial system around that time. And Virgo is also linked to debt. So maybe people wanting to rebel because they're under a lot of debt. And Mars square Pluto, that's really a signature for fighting and rebelling. So it could also be the dark side planning some form of attack against the people. But what I find positive around that time is that I feel like people are going to stand up, because Aries, the sign of the warrior. So Mars will conjunct the South Node and it will square Pluto. So on the more personal side of things, I feel like past karmic relationships might come back around that time, or it could also be relation dynamics from past lives that are coming back for review and healing around that time. Man is man. Mars is the planet that rules man, so it can be some form of a masculine presence in your life, helping with your healing process, because it's a Virgo degree. There could be a lot of karmic healing around that time, being faced with important choices because of the Pluto T-squaring the nose. I wrote here intense and almost violent life-shattering events. So whenever we've got planets in relationship to the nodal axis, it feels often like really powerful karmic events happening in your life that you don't have much control over. So your control is usually more your reaction to those events than the events themselves. So just putting it out there to make sure you all are prepared. And it'll be some form of preview of the October 14 new moon eclipse in Libra that we'll have. So you'll see what kind of themes comes up in your life. And Meg is going to also give you some more details around what could be happening based on your zodiac sign. We'll go through the 12 zodiac signs in just a few minutes. And also Venus, which is the ruler of the sun at the moment of this full moon in Aries, squares Uranus exactly. So, okay, let's state everything there. There could be relationship disruptions, breakups in friendships, romantic relationship, business partnerships, and just generally speaking, some people parting ways where relationships no longer align. But on the positive side, it could also be revelations in relationships that can be positive. And I feel like there could also be people, of course, breaking up, but I feel there could be new relationships forming in like a very intense karmic relationship forming as well. So we always have, like, say, two sides of the coin. So let's mention everything here. And also another positive thing, we have Mars, which is the ruler of this full moon, sextiles Venus. So I wrote sexy time, really good for romantic dates. Great full moon for romance, for dates, finding mutual ground after hardships in relationships. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be happy about that after this long Venus retrograde. And I feel like there's going to be a great sense of desire for something or someone. So a lot of desire. So Mars sextiles Venus is a good energy to really focus on your intentions and what you'd like to manifest, because it can give you a lot of drive in attaining those goals. So that was a lot, Meg. What do you think about this full moon?
Yeah, well, I agree with you on everything. And it's funny because for some reason, when I was looking at the charts, I wasn't thinking so much about the kind of war stuff and physical aggression themes, but you're totally right on with that, that there is very big potential there. Not that we want that, but that this could be very big potential. And like Julie was saying, not just because it's a full moon in Aries, we have a full moon in Aries every year. It's the aspects happening with it. It's really some really challenging aspects with, like I said, Chiron conjunct the moon. And then, like you said, the ruler of Aries, Mars conjunct the South Node, extremely karmic, as you said. So relationships that are not in alignment for you, that's going to be very, very highlighted. I feel like that's a really big thing with this. Relationships, releasing ones that don't serve us, stepping into our self-empowerment. through relationships or in any area of life. And we'll go through each of the 12 signs to see where specifically that's happening for you. And I also feel like because it's such a strong Aries energy with Mars, I think stressed out. I don't think Mars is going to be feeling very happy in Libra conjunct the South Node. So I think people can be feeling extra fiery, angry, frustrated, irritated more so than usual. So doing something active like physical activity, exercise, or having sex, okay,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
some kind dancing, some kind of activity will help you to deal with this intense full moon. I think it's going to be extremely intense. So might be good to just be, if you're someone who is very energetically sensitive, very much in the present moment. Maybe you don't want to listen to anything that's going on. Not to say that, you know, it is important to keep up to date, I think, with what's going on. But if it's making you really angry and agitated and you're really feeling it more than usual, turn it off and just go be in the present moment. Be an Aries. Do something fun. Do something active. So yeah, super important. We're talking about that one, Julie, and you just said so much good information about it. So everyone, you might want to rewind and listen back to that because that was great.
Thank you. And also, I just want to point out that I listed a lot of possibilities, let's say, on the world stage, but it also might be threats of and not the actual event. Let's say we're talking about Aries stuff, so war and stuff. It could be threats more than an actual event coming in, but let's just mention everything as you said, because Mars square Pluto could be a lot of fear inducing events. So maybe they're gonna try to pump up the fear while nothing is really happening. Yeah. And thank you so much, transcendental, I don't know how to pronounce that word, transcendental, yes, I got it, Gems, thank you so much, appreciate your support. And I put a comment. Okay, Orion 555 is asking, does September 29th possibly shows a market crash? I'll ask you after, Meg. Personally, I think it'll be more October than September. I know a lot of people have been looking at September, but since it's in the relationship axis and it's in the sign of Aries, I'm seeing more like political stuff happening, because usually Aries talks about either war or preparing, let's say, trying to secure your country, if we're looking at the world. And Libra deals with politics and exchanges between two countries. So I don't think necessarily there could be something financial right at the moment of this full moon, but I'm thinking more eclipse October. What's your take on that, Meg?
I agree with you. I think the dark side are going to try to pump up the fear big time. There might not even be anything going on, actually, but they're trying to really pump up the fear, like you said, Julie. And as we're going along, as you were talking about the new moon and the full moon, I was pulling cards as you were going on, and I keep getting this card, Taurus.
I like that.
So I feel like that's telling us Orion 555, the Taurus eclipse, October 28th. Around then, I think around then we're more likely to have a market crash if we are going to. Yeah, that'll be the last eclipse in Taurus for 18, 19 years.
Yeah, in the financial axis.
In the financial axis, yeah.
Wow, thank you. And I'm thinking, when I'm looking at this full moon in Aries, Venus square Uranus, can you pull cards on, do you think there is going to be like a ET false flag sort of
okay, that's a good question.
Situation? Yeah, because Uranus usually rules ETs, and we're having a square with Venus, which is the ruler of the sun at that moment. So is it one of their tactics?
I'm going to say yes. Okay, so the first card we've got is the retrograde card. I'm feeling like, and we got the midheaven, which is the top middle position of an astrology chart, you guys. So it represents people in power, elites, governments, that kind of thing. I feel like they're reviewing their plans. I'm personally feeling in this moment they haven't made a solid, okay, here's what we're going to do. It feels energetically very scattered to me right now. And I'd love to hear what you feel, Julie, but I'm just picking up on that intuitively right now. Almost like a desperation energy of, okay, and they have astrologers, all the dark arts people. So they know all these events coming up. They know we've got this full moon in Aries. They know we have the eclipses. They know we have Pluto and Aquarius that they can't hide from. They're just trying to create as much destruction as possible. But I'm seeing people sitting at a table with papers and kind of going, okay, we have this option. We have the UFO option. We also have this other thing that not even anyone's thinking of right now. I'm feeling that there's something that could come up that none of us are even thinking of. And it feels like it's going to be really weird, fear-based, things they're trying to bring up that doesn't even make sense. So this is good that we're talking about this, because whatever does come up around that time, it doesn't feel like it's powerful. We've got the 12th house card. Not to say the 12th house isn't powerful, but this can be illusions. This can be fantasy land kind of things. This can be very ungrounded. So it feels like whatever they've got up their sleeves, it doesn't have stability. It's not stable. It's something that may freak people out, like, whoa, really briefly, but it's not something that's stable that can actually keep us in a negative place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because from what I'm understanding, they have like a couple of options of like false flag scenarios to pump up the fear that they
Yes.
have in their let's say in their sleeves. And I'm thinking it's probably going to try to cover up the financial situation, big transition. That's going to be probably like the main thing happening in the fall. So probably like the ET thing is probably one of their possibilities. I know health is another one.
Sorry, Julie, I just
Go ahead.
pulled one card for what's the most likely false flag narrative. And we got the 5th house. That's interesting. So people in the public eye, artists, celebrities, musicians, politicians. So to pay, not that we need to pay attention to those guys, but whatever those people are going to be saying, the celebrities or, those politicians that we know can't be trusted, it's that's going to show us, okay, that's what they're trying to go for.
Yeah.
They're pumping out.
And as you're saying that, I'm seeing 444 with the amount of people that are watching this live. So I think it's a great confirmation that we're being protected throughout this big transition. Thank you, Meg. And before we dive into the 12 zodiac signs, so stay tuned and check out your rising sign, sun sign, moon sign. Probably rising and sun are probably going to be the most powerful to look at. And before we dive into that, I just wanted to remind everybody here that we just launched this psychic protection workshop with Meg and Janine. That's on the Academy, so beyondmystic.academy. And I feel like it's very relevant for what we're about to embark on with the month of September and all those possible false flags and transitions. Basically, we've been guided to put this workshop together to really help everybody to stand in their own truth and power and be like a tree that's super grounded and super powerful, to not let yourself be disturbed by everything that's going out on the outside world. And so we share a lot of our personal psychic protection rituals, daily rituals, but also different type of karmic cord cutting, which is, I think, also a big theme for the month of September. So how to best protect your energy and how to evaluate what's for your highest good in your life, what's not. Try to really remain in your own power. And we're having a 10% off coupon code that's that's going to be until a few days still. So until August 31st, and it's Energy 10. Wow, I'm having a lot of trouble to speak. Energy 10 for 10% off, still a couple days. Yeah. So do you think it's a good universal timing that we put this workshop together, Meg?
Definitely. I think we maybe didn't realize how important it truly is at the time that we did it. So
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear everybody's positive feedback about it in the comments and that we've been getting online. That makes us really happy to hear, because it is very, very important, this subject.
Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Meg. Yes, it is. And it's funny. I just want to share a little personal stuff. When I was on hold for the bank for 2 hours before speaking to an agent for fraud on my credit card, like the automated message that kept coming up was about fraud and how to protect yourself from like not good people that were trying to get your personal information and harm you, and fraudulent information. And it was like, the message was so funny. It was like, if it seems too good to be true and someone is messaging you on social media to give you money or a job or a partnership, it probably is. So make sure you protect yourself. And that was so funny because like now, like they wanted everybody to be naive and complying and complacent, and now they're like, no, 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 now you need to not be naive and you know, review everything and everybody. So I feel like this psychic protection workshop is all about protecting your energy and yourself, and it's so in line with this Mercury and Venus retrograde. Okay, Meg, what do you think about diving into the 12 zodiac signs?
Sounds good.
And before we do so, what chart? I have the chart for the new moon or the full moon. Which one would you like better?
Maybe the full moon one.
Okay. Let me get that. Full moon. I'll share that with you.
Awesome. So we're going to go through each of the 12 signs, everyone, for September. So like Julie said, really good to listen to your sun sign and your rising sign. Those are the two most important ones, but you can also listen to your moon sign if you'd like to as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
All right, so we will start with Aries for September. So we do have, first thing I want to talk about is Jupiter retrograde, which is going to be starting on September 4th and going until December 31st, 2023. So Aries, the Jupiter retrograde is happening in your second house. This is a good time to review your beliefs, because Jupiter rules our beliefs, of your values, resources, money, abundance, beauty, and pleasures of life. And Jupiter in astrology also rules inner growth. So there can be really great inner growth while Jupiter's retrograde happening for you in the areas of life that Taurus and the second house rules. So I feel like that's really positive, actually, Aries, for you guys to have Jupiter, one of the benefic planets, retrograde in the second house of Taurus. And we've also got a cazimi, which is when a planet conjuncts the sun. This is going to be on September 6th. The sun is going to be conjunct Mercury exact, forming a cazimi. And cazimis, when it's the sun conjunct Mercury, are about insights and downloads, you guys. So depending on where this is happening in our chart, we can be getting a lot of clarity in certain areas of life, insights. So for Aries, the sun conjunct Mercury cazimi on September 6th is happening in your sixth house. So the house of Virgo. So for Aries, you can be receiving insights and downloads on your health, routines, day-to-day work, your office space, where you're working. And I do feel like for Aries, sun, moon, and risings, you can be making more money at work with Jupiter trine this cazimi. So I feel like this is very positive. The whole month, I think, is really, really powerful for Aries in particular. There could be more opportunity for abundance, money, making really good decisions with your resources. So that's awesome. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th, which we have this chart up for, is happening in your first house. And this is going to be extremely powerful, Aries, sun, moon, and risings, because this full moon is obviously happening in your sign. You can have life-changing events occurring with this full moon, okay? There can also be life-changing opportunities being presented to you at this time, because even though full moons are generally about releasing and cleansing and illuminating maybe what we're not seeing clearly, Aries is the sign of empowerment. So I feel like for Aries, there could be really amazing opportunities, self-empowerment, things happening at this time. So make the most of this full moon, okay? Whatever it's presenting, or whatever's presenting itself around this time, if you feel like it's an alignment, even though there's funny aspects with this full moon, I think it could be actually really good for Aries if you are releasing some of that excess, intense Aries energy of any anger or frustrations or impatience, right? Because Aries is the most active sign in astrology. So making sure you're neutralizing some of those excess parts of the full moon. And with this full moon conjunct Chiron, it could also, Aries, be a great time to do some self-healing work or empowering practices. So you got a lot going on, Aries, this month. Really good for work, clarity going on with your work, your resources, more money could start being made this month. And also you could have huge, I think you are going to have huge life changes and experiences this month with this full moon. Do you want to add anything, Julie?
I was waiting for you to finish. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. Yeah, definitely with the full moon in the sign of Aries, the Aries are going to feel that a lot, but I feel like it could also bring a lot of rewards for past actions.
Mhm.
A lot of people have asked us to look at cards also, because we used to do that before in the old version of the Astro Woo. So let's pull an oracle cards for our beautiful Aries. For the month of September, Aries. Okay. They don't want to come out. Okay. All at the same time. Okay. Interesting. I have Unbound. And I'm going to try to put it in the bigger screen here. Bless you. Okay, so I have Unbound, which is releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives, which is very much linked to this full moon in Aries, which is also in your relationship axis. So I'm feeling like this full moon, try to really be conscious of what you want to release, what kind of patterns, what kind of soul contracts. And if you feel guided to have, let's say, a past life consultation, you can do so with Sophie or take the past life course. That might help you into looking at what are you reliving in this life that has to do with past lifetimes or karmic ties. And if you are feeling guided towards, let's say, cutting ties, karmic ties with people from past lives or from your past that no longer align, and that's not a bad thing, by the way, that can always be beneficial, even if you love the person, because the love always stays in a connection, but that we can cut the ties, because sometimes there's like an unfair and energetic exchange, and also a lot of blockages stopping you from really evolving in this connection. So if you feel guided to cut the ties, we have a lot of good advice on how to do so in the psychic protection workshop. So that's the card I have for Aries. But
Wow.
I feel like after the full moon, you'll feel a lot lighter, and you feel like you're gonna be able to move on with new things with the eclipse season.
Mm-hmm. That is a powerful card to get.
Yeah, and usually like this deck is super like ooh, like positive. So I'm like, okay, real stuff is happening for Aries, but I feel like you're gonna feel a lot lighter after that. So
Yeah.
let's move on to our next sign, if you will. And oh, not this one. And I'll change that to our friend Taurus's.
Tauruses. Okay. So Taurus sun, risings, and moons. First things first, Venus, your planetary ruler, has been retrograde for the past 2 months, pretty much. So yay, on September 3rd, Venus will be direct. And so for the Tauruses and Libras that are ruled by Venus, this is very positive. I think we're going to feel more back to our stable, kind of normal selves. I know a lot of us Taurus and Libras have been feeling kind of funny the past 2 months, more tired than usual, just weird situations coming up. So this is really, really good for us. And the Jupiter retrograde is going to be happening in your first house, Tauruses, because Jupiter is in Taurus. So from September 4th until December 31st, Jupiter will be retrograde. And Jupiter is about our beliefs and inner growth and expansion. So with this being in your first house of self, this is a really good time to review your beliefs about yourself. And how do you feel about yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Are you comfortable being seen for who you truly are, Tauruses? This can be really big, major growth occurring for you from September actually to December for the Tauruses and the Libras. So this is going to be really, really powerful. And the Sun conjunct Mercury Cazimi on September 6th is happening in your fifth house. So you can be receiving insights and downloads creatively about your inner confidence, being seen, because the fifth house is about being seen. So there's a theme with the Tauruses around being seen and being in their confidence and their true energy. So being seen by the world and insights and downloads in regards to any romantic relationships and children that you may have. So I think this could be even a fun day, September 6th and the days around that, because the fifth house is the house of fun and, play and having fun in life. So that's going to be really nice for you, Tauruses, some nice insights coming through. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in your 12th house. So I feel like around this full moon, Tauruses are going to be feeling a little bit more lazier than usual. And I'm a Taurus rising, you guys, so I'm not making fun of any of the Tauruses out there, but we like to relax. We like to have time where we take it easy. So we're going to be really feeling that, I think, around this full moon because it's activating our 12th house. So really good to chill out, observe, don't absorb, don't overextend yourself. Relax, rejuvenate, maybe go to the spa or go on a little retreat or something like that. You can feel a lot more dreamier than usual, and there can be really deep soul healing happening around this full moon. Spiritual insights and releases and karmic ties, a lot of past life things could be coming up for Tauruses, and some really big spiritual insights for sure. So this is a big time for Tauruses, not just with September, but the whole, I think, next 4 months with Jupiter being retrograde in Taurus. Want to add anything, Julie?
Wow, that's a powerful month. I agree with you. And just the fact that Jupiter is changing direction. So a lot of stuff will start, let's say, changing direction also in your personal life, which is your first house. And wow, that full moon is very intense. And I pulled a card for our friends, Taurus. Okay. Wow. I love that. I have, I don't think I've seen this card before. Star Keeper. And it says Cosmic Ancestor. Wait a minute. See the light by staying grounded. And we know that Taurus usually do that pretty well. So, okay, so I'm feeling a lot of, let's say, revelations, downloads with the crown chakra being very highlighted on this picture. So I feel like you're going to have also big revelation around your star families, your where are you coming from, what's your purpose here. 12th house is all about having, let's say, prophetic dreams, messages coming in. So I'm feeling like very powerful month. And it's not because, let's say, stuff isn't happening in your outside world. I feel like in your inside world, it's going to be a major, major transformation. Mm-hmm. And I also pulled the card Perspective. So it's like, it's going to change in a major way. Your perspective is going to change in a major way. But it's going to be more like an inside transformation than an outside transformation for Taurus, but a powerful one during the month of September. So, and I'm feeling like a lot of healing also for past life stuff, as you said, with the 12th house, Chiron, North Node, and the moon being there. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Let's move on to our next sign, which is Gemini.
Gemini. And just before getting into that, Rosalie 2020 says, is a rising sign the same as an ascendant? Yes, that's the same thing. So we use rising and ascendant, those words synonymously. Thank you, Rosalie. So yeah, for our Geminis out there, your planetary ruler, Mercury, is retrograde right now and is going to be retrograde until September 15th. So you can be feeling that. You and the Virgos ruled by Mercury can be feeling that. Usually you do, more so than the other signs. So we're in that retrograde until September 15th, and then Mercury goes direct on September 15th. So you'll be able to think more clearer. Things won't be as funky, but it is a really good time, Gemini, to be reviewing, taking a step back, looking at organization and all the things that Virgo rules, because we got this Mercury retrograde happening in Virgo. So with the Jupiter retrograde that we're having starting on September 4th, going until the end of this year, this is happening in your 12th house, Geminis. So this is interesting because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces and the 12th house. So you're having Jupiter in one of its home houses. So this can be very, very strong and more pronounced for you, Geminis. So reviewing beliefs about your spirituality, creativity, and inner hidden self, which is kind of opposite to Gemini usually, because you guys like to be out in the world and socializing and be out there. But you may be feeling actually the next 4 months to go a little bit more internal. Now, it's not one of the inner planets, like Julie was saying earlier, it is one of the outer planets, but this is Jupiter in one of its home houses. So you may be feeling this actually quite strong. It is a great time for dream work. And yeah, I already said Jupiter is the traditional ruler of the 12th house. So yeah, doing behind the scenes work, going more inward would actually be good, Geminis. And I get this message a lot from Spirit that sometimes it's actually really powerful, Geminis, when we're working on something behind the scenes and not necessarily sharing it or talking about it, Gemini talking about it, right? Keeping something sacred until it's ready to be released. And there's something about sometimes that makes a project even more powerful when we release it, when it's actually the time to release it. So I hope that makes sense. And Spirit is just wanting me to say that right now. The Sun conjunct Mercury Cazimi is happening on September 6th, and this is very positive for you, Geminis. This is your planetary ruler of Mercury conjunct the Sun. So this Cazimi is happening in your 4th house, the house of home, family, and your emotions. So all of those areas are very highlighted. You can receive major downloads and insights around the 4th house areas, like your home, family, your emotional inner self. So there's a lot of inner work actually going on for Geminis, which is interesting. What do you really want in terms of your home life and your family life? Okay. So embrace what it is that you truly want, because there can be a lot of clarity coming through in those areas. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in your 11th house. So you can be feeling more social, I think, by the end of the month rather than at the beginning or the middle of the month. Around the full moon in Aries, you can, Geminis, be feeling more like, okay, I got to get out there. I got to go be around my friends or a social event or do something fun. You can be feeling really inspired to be around like-minded people, community, a new group of people, or a group that you've been associated with in the past. And your dreams and goals are going to be very highlighted. So there can be major releases and illuminating insights occurring in the areas of your life regarding friends, community, groups you're associated with, and your dreams and your goals. So I think this is a really powerful time for Geminis to receive really big insights this month. To allow for time to be behind the scenes doesn't mean you have to be like a hermit, Geminis, but it is powerful to sometimes allow yourself to be alone or in some kind of isolation to receive insights and not be influenced by everyone else around you.
That might be very rare for Geminis indeed, but I agree with you 100%. I think that it's probably like the best gift for the month of September for Geminis.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pull a card for our beautiful friend, the Geminis, with the powerful month of September. What's the message for you? Oh, wow. Very in line with the 11th house. I have soul family.
Ooh.
Call in your tribe. It says you don't have to do it alone. So yeah, I'm feeling a lot of let's say a good balance between finding your time alone and making sure you are investing in yourself, in your spiritual practices, meditation. You were talking about the sleep journal. I feel like you're probably going to have very important dreams. So try to really balance time alone with also quality connections. And for sure, there's a lot of influence with your soul family. So people that you feel are like-minded individual, it's going to be very important to connect with them during the month of September, and especially with this full moon at the end of the month in your 11th house of soul tribe, community, and oh, we're having a special guest that just okay, so yeah, I feel like this is going to be an important message to really make sure that you are connecting with the right people for you. And maybe also there's going to be karmic also connection coming in for healing and for different revelations. Wow, okay, interesting. Let's move on to our next sign, which is
Cancers.
Cancer. I don't know
Yes.
if our special guest wants to be a part of this. Let's give me a second. I'll check. I haven't checked my. Okay. Okay. Let's move to Cancer.
Okay, awesome. So for Cancers, this Jupiter retrograde is going to be happening in your 11th house. So Jupiter retrograde from September 4th to December 35th, December 35th, December 31st of this year. So with this happening in your 11th house, this is reviewing beliefs about your goals, dreams, aspirations, your social connections, friends, groups, and community, as well as, this is really interesting for the Cancers, activism. I was really feeling this strong for the Cancers. So the 11th house and the sign of Aquarius, that is the sign that rules the 11th house, rules activism and speaking your truth and standing up for a cause. So Cancers can make a very positive impact and make really positive changes in society for the whole next 4 months. So people that are Cancer sun, moon, and risings, whether you are a famous Cancer or someone that isn't seen publicly and not big of a deal, you can make really positive changes in your local community, with groups you're associated with your friend groups, by speaking in your truth. So I was feeling that, I know a lot of Cancers that did speak out in the past few years, but Cancers is one of the most sensitive and emotional signs. So it can be more challenging for Cancers to speak out sometimes, but know, Cancers, that it's very much in alignment for you with Jupiter retrograde happening in your 11th house to speak your truth. Okay, you don't have to be scared to speak your truth. It's actually really in alignment, and for whatever cosmic reason needed for the Cancers to be doing so. So that's very, very interesting. And you can be getting connected with old friends, making new friends, joining new soul family communities. So that's very positive, Cancer, for the whole next 4 months with Jupiter retrograde, starting on September 4th. And the Sun conjunct Mercury cazimi on September 6th is happening in your 3rd house. So this is interesting because it's also a house similar to the 11th house, related to friends and social connections. So there's a really big theme with Cancers going on: their friends, their social connections, their community. So there can be, with this cazimi, downloads and insights in those areas of life that the 3rd house rules: communication, your friends, siblings, social media, local community, learning, short distance travel, and cars and gadgets. So maybe some of you are going to be getting new cars or new gadgets. There can be positive things coming through like that, even though it's a Mercury retrograde, which is kind of funny because usually we wouldn't want to be doing those things during a Mercury retrograde. But you can get the clarity of, if you've been trying to find a new car or a new type of phone or new kind of little device, that can actually be coming through. So that's interesting. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is going to be very powerful for you, Cancer, because your planetary ruler is the full moon. So even though the full moon isn't happening in Cancer, it's going to be a very, very strong one, like Julie and I were talking about. So you're going to be feeling it probably more intensely than a lot of the other signs. So taking it easy, Cancer is one of the water signs. If you're feeling more emotional, if you need to do some extra self-care, that's totally normal. It's interesting though, because this full moon in Aries is happening in your 10th house. So you can reach a new position of empowerment in work life or being seen publicly. Your career, public image, authority figures are all highlighted with this full moon. The Spirit's wanting me to say there could be new mentors that you're meeting around this full moon that can help you with your career. So that's interesting. For some Cancers, this can be the end to a job and career and starting retirement or a new career chapter or a new type of job, because the 10th house is our career and our job. And I just wrote down was channeling some questions. Are you happy, Cancers, with what you're doing in life? Be honest with yourself, because this is a very up-leveling full moon opportunity for you. So very powerful for the Cancers as well. I feel like each of the signs have very powerful things happening in different ways.
Yeah, and especially cardinal signs, because of this full moon and then the eclipse, which is also going to fall in cardinal sign. Okay, I feel like I have a card for our friend Cancers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. We have lifting the veil. So it says on the card, questioning everything, anything on the line must go. Whoa. So yeah, I feel like generally for everybody, anything on the line must go is probably the signature of this full moon in Aries, with that being a preview of the eclipse season in October. But somehow it feels like for Cancers, it's going to allow you to get even closer to what you truly want, to your core self. Who are you at your core? Who is your close entourage? Who are your close ones? So I'm feeling like a lot of revelations will be happening for you, and probably also with that Mercury Cazimi that you just mentioned in their third house of messages, communication. So a lot of information that is going to appear in your life, allowing you to see truth and true people for who they truly are. So big revelations, but I'm feeling very positive about that card for you, Cancers. Wow. Okay. Oh, thank you, Meg. So yeah.
So we just want to say thank you to everyone in the Rumble so much for all the viewers, 1,194 viewers in the Rumble, as well as the donations that we're receiving through Rumble. So thank you all so much. Sometimes we have to remember that we're doing YouTube and Rumble at the same time.
Thank you, Meg, for mentioning that. And yes, thank you so much for everybody watching us on Rumble, giving us some rants and some beautiful comments over there. Don't forget to like as well. Thank you so much for your support. And yeah, as you're mentioning, like we have multiple platform going on, and we're trying to also do the production of this episode. And I'm like, my mind is like, but doing our best. And thank you everybody for being there with us, of course. Okay, so I think we should maybe look to the next sign, which is the beautiful Leos.
Leos.
Okay, and I'll share this. Let's go.
Leos. Awesome. So for Leos, first and foremost, Venus has been retrograde in Leo for the past couple months. So this has been a really big deal for the Leo sun, moon, and risings. So good news is Venus retrograde in Leo ends on September 3rd. And this can ease the energy, I think, a lot for the Leos that have been going through dramatic love life situations this summer. I've been hearing that a lot with some of the Leo sun, moon, and risings around me. So after we get out of, when Venus goes direct and after the post shadow period later in September as well, all the dramas that have been going on will ease off. So that's really good news for the Leos, I think, because romantic life has been very highlighted for them, and a lot of intense things going on there, as well as even with money and resources as well, because Venus is not just love, but it's also our resources and abundance. So yeah, the Jupiter retrograde that we're having from September to December, Leos, is happening in your 10th house. So reviewing your beliefs around your career, legacy, being seen publicly, and authority figures and elders. There can be really big, major inner growth that can happen in regards to your career, Leos. And that's been a really big theme for the Leos the past few months, is like being seen publicly, up leveling in your career, believing in yourself. So this is a really good time, Leos, I think, for your career and up leveling happening in those areas. And I was feeling to say, what is your true calling in life, Leos? Because I feel like a lot of you know what that is, because you're very passionate, you're very connected to your hearts and your inner child. So when I say, what is your true calling in life? What is the first thing that comes to mind? And are you doing that? So Spirit
Can
was
I
just,
just add something quickly that you just reminded me that Nicolas Sayanovich used to say that Leos are actually like one of the best teachers of the zodiac. And with that Jupiter in the 10th house changing direction, it reminds me that a lot of Leos have a lot of things that they should share with other people publicly, being a teacher, mentor, guide. So I just wanted to share that I kind of had this insight while you were talking. Back to you.
that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, Lee, you guys are our sun beings. So you're here to shine. You're here to inspire all of us. Very important for the Leos to be doing that and in alignment with their passions, because it inspires all the rest of us. So yeah, so for Leos, the Sun conjunct Mercury Cazimi on September 6th is going to be happening in your second house. So downloads and insights for you in the areas of life of your values, resources, money, abundance, beauty, and pleasures of life. There could also, similar to, I think it was the Gemini, sorry, I'm having a brain fart, but you're one of the signs that could actually be making more money this month as well,
Yeah.
starting to make a significant new amount of money. So that's really, really nice. So insights coming in around the areas of life that Taurus rule, the second house rule with that Cazimi. And the full moon in Aries on September 9th is happening in your ninth house. So this I think is really, really cool, because the ninth house is the house of Sagittarius. And sorry, I just had a Mercury retrograde moment. I thought I was talking about Jupiter retrograde and that this is going to be really lucky for you. It could be really lucky for you, but it's
But
the,
I think you're right. It's like probably one of the best placement to have
yeah,
this full moon in.
yeah, you're totally right. You're very lucky, Leos, in the sense that, yeah, as Julie said, this is one of the more positive places to have this very intense full moon activating in your chart. So the ninth house areas of life are being illuminated. There can be releases happening in this area, as well as in regards to your teachers, gurus that you follow, something that you've been learning, courses that you've been taking. It may come to a time, Leo, where you may have gotten to a point where certain teachers don't resonate with you, certain guides don't resonate with you, certain paths don't resonate with you. And there can be, not saying that you have to, I'm just saying for some of the Leos, there could be clarity and empowerment about a new way, a new subject moving forward. There could be releases happening in beliefs that don't serve you anymore, or beliefs that may actually be other people's beliefs and not even yours. But sometimes we take that on when we have certain teachers or people that we follow. It's also the house of foreign travel and foreign people. So there could be traveling potentially going on for Leos around this full moon, or information regarding future traveling coming forward. There could be a new empowering course or subject you become aware of that you start taking. So that maybe that's one of the Beyond Mystic Academy courses, or a course from somewhere else. So higher learning is very highlighted, Leos, around this full moon.
Yeah, I agree. Wow, beautiful. Yeah, I feel like this theme of higher learning, teaching, reviewing your perspective and your mindset on things is quite highlighted for Leo, which I find beautiful.
Mhm.
Let's pull an oracle cards for our beautiful Leos. And I know there's quite a couple of you watching, so hello to all of the beautiful Leos watching. And I heard I read some comments on the Rumble live chat that were saying, "Oh, no romance for this Leo," and well, Venus is retrograde in your sign, so I don't think it's for everybody to say that they had like a wonderful let's say, romantic period. I feel like a lot of Leos maybe struggled, but Venus is going to go direct, and I feel like there will be a huge shift, positive shift for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I have, oh, interesting. It's the first time I have this card also. So, Breath of the Cosmos. So, it's talking about releasing, exhaling a breath. And it says, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So, by that, I feel like, wow, I feel like Leos are learning to how to be in the flow and to how to understand like the bigger perspective of what's going on in their lives. So I feel like this is going to be a good time to really understand what's at play, either karmically and soul contracts. What kind of agreement did you have before coming in this incarnation? And I feel like it's going to help you get not a little bit of emotional distance for everything that will be coming up with the full moon, the intensity of the full moon and the eclipses, and you'll understand with a little more distance, oh, this is happening because of this or that. And I feel like it's going to give you a greater understanding of what's at play. So being emotionally a bit distant from what's happening, but it's going to help you understand and be a lot more positive in your manifestation abilities with that card. Very powerful.
Wow.
I like that. Should we move to our next sign?
Yes. Virgo.
Yes.
Yes. And happy birthday and solar returns to all the September and August Virgos out there. Happy birthday, Julie and Sophie and all the other Virgos.
Thank you so much.
Cool. So yeah, Virgos, your planetary ruler, Mercury, as we talked about with the Geminis, is retrograde until September 15th and then is going to move direct after that. So that'll be nice when Mercury goes direct, because as I was saying for the Geminis, you guys can be feeling more affected by the Mercury retrogrades when that does happen. The Jupiter retrograde that we're having for the next 4 months is happening in your 9th house. So this is the sign that is having the Jupiter retrograde in their 9th house, Virgos, which I think is extremely lucky and positive for all y'all, as Jupiter is the planet of luck, and it's going to be retrograde in its home house, the house of Sagittarius, and Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, for those who may not know. So that's why we're saying it's so lucky. This is a time of great inner growth for you around your core life, spiritual and philosophical beliefs. You can review your beliefs around long distance travel, higher learning, courses, studying, spiritual teachers, and publishing. There could even be opportunities, because Jupiter's expansion and opportunities coming through in those areas. If Virgos, there's anything you want to publish or any courses you want to take or travel that you want to do. So watch the magical signs and synchronicities all around you, because this Jupiter retrograde, I think, is really lucky and positive for the next 4 months for the Virgos. And I'm jealous because I think that's a thing to have.
But don't be jealous, because we'll be launching a course together. So I feel like it's going to benefit you a lot, this beautiful energy of Jupiter in my 9th house.
Awesome. Yay. So yeah, there's also Sun conjunct Mercury Cazimi on September 6th. Virgos is happening in your 1st house, because the Sun and Mercury will be in conjunction exactly in Virgo. So this is also really powerful. This could be, well, it is going to be a major point of downloads and insights about who you truly are and your self-empowerment. Big insights on health can come up as well, because it's in the sign of Virgo, which rules physical health. And I wrote down positive healing modalities, routines, and health changes can come forward for the Virgos. So it might be the Virgos this month that takes the cake for possibly the best month, if I had to say any sign out of everything together that's the most positive. So very nice for your birthday month, a lot of the Virgos out there. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in your 8th house of Scorpio. So this is going to be intense when we get later to the month. it's going to be an intense period around this full moon because the 8th house is the most intense house in astrology. And Aries and Scorpio are sister signs because they're both ruled by Mars. So Aries is ruled by Mars. Scorpio is ruled traditionally by Mars, and the modern day ruler is Pluto. So whenever we've got something going on with Aries and Scorpio together, this is like fireworks, very fiery and passionate. This is a full moon of, I think, a really big release for Virgos and self-empowerment, as full moons are releasing and illumination times. And the 8th house of Scorpio is the house of cleansing, releasing toxicity and the dark energies from life. So your behavioral patterns, shadow side, sexual nature, closest relationships, and secrets are all highlighted, okay? As well as hidden money, investments, inheritances, and occult knowledge, and truth seeking. So I think you can be having a lot of fun, Virgos, and then when this full moon comes around, it's going to be a very different energy where something needs to be dealt with. And don't be scared to do some real deal healing modalities, as I like to suggest whenever we're talking about the 8th house.
Wow. And also, I'd like to bring up also that it could also be some form of financial reward, because 8th house can also be money coming to you because you worked at something really hard in the past, and full moon or completion. So let's hope it's going to be this one, or a beautiful healing that's coming in some shape or form in your life. Wow. Okay. That's a beautiful month ahead for the Virgos. Very much looking forward to it. Let's pick a card, an oracle cards for the beautiful Virgos. Okay. Ha. Okay. I like this card. I have Dance with Life.
Ooh.
Do something to change your energy. And I feel like it's very much in connection with both the 8th and the 9th house, because the 8th house is the house of transformation, right? Changes. So I feel like a lot of Virgos will be going, especially towards the end of the month with the full moon, as you said, going through a lot of changes. So it's going to be important that you remind yourself to do some stuff that you really like, that is going to help you change your energy, such as dancing or anything else that's going to help you shift the energy. Because anytime we go through a lot of death and rebirth of some kind, even very positive ones, we have to keep moving this energy to make sure that we're up leveling in a light and positive way. So in 9th house with Jupiter there, it's like reminding you to also do some things that you like, and it could also be traveling. I just want to mention here. So dancing, traveling seem to be two things that Virgos need to remind themselves that they should be having fun throughout all those changes.
Nice.
I love that. Okay. Let's move on to Libras.
Okay, Libras. So happy birthday and solar return to all the September Libra suns out there. The Venus, your planetary ruler, is going to go direct on September 3rd. So like the Tauruses, that'll be really nice. Venus direct after the Venus retrograde of the past 2 months, which has been very dramatic for a lot of people. I think particularly for the Leos, Tauruses, and Libras. So that'll be nice when we've got the Venus going direct on September 3rd. And the Jupiter retrograde that we're having the next 4 months is happening in your 8th house, Libras. So good time to review your beliefs around intimacy, power, the deep truths of life, and your hidden and sexual self. I think this is a great time to do shadow work, spiritual healing, or therapeutic practice. And it's interesting because Scorpio and Sagittarius, they're two signs that are next to each other. So usually the signs that are next to each other have some similarities. So Jupiter, the ruler of the 9th house, which is next to the 8th house where this Jupiter retrograde is happening, both have to do with spiritual modalities. Okay, so spiritual teachers, retreats, different healing practices. So I think it would be really good, Libra, to do some kind of shadow work, spiritual healing, or therapeutic practice if it resonates with you. And tremendous inner growth, I think, can occur for Libras at this time as Jupiter rules inner growth in the 8th house of Scorpio, which is deep soul transformation and revealing. And we do also have the South Node in Libra right now. We're going to be having an eclipse in Libra. So Libras, you're one of the signs getting the most activated and worked with the current astrology. So it would actually be really, really good. I know I'm saying it over and over again, but Spirit wants me to say, do some kind of therapeutic, supportive, spiritual or energetic practice that can really help you during this time. And I do think that with the Jupiter retrograde, there could be some nice returns on investments, or even inheritances can happen during this time as well. So watching out for that. And that'll be nice once Venus is retrograde, if there are, direct after September 3rd. If there's been purchases you've been holding off on making, it's a good time to do so, I think. Things you've been waiting to purchase, you can do now. And the Sun conjunct Mercury Cazimi on September 6th is happening in your 12th house. So spiritual, creative, and dream time downloads and insights can be occurring for you. I think make time for meditation, self-reflection, or dream work around September 6th. That can be very, very powerful insights coming through, Libras. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in your 7th house. This is your home house. This is the house of Libra. So very, very powerful, releasing an illumination in regards to your committed relationships, partners, commitments, courts, or legal matters. There can definitely be relationship changes happening for Libras with this full moon. So Libras, if you know that you're in a little bit of a toxic or funky situation, start to wrap your head around that. Maybe you want to talk to people about that, because there could be breakups happening, relationship changes, or maybe you're meeting a new partner, but it is a full moon. So usually that's releasing things that no longer serve. And if you're in a positive relationship, Libras, then great. There's more transformation happening in your committed relationships.
I love that. And I also want to mention that since the South Node entered your sign, which is Libra, sometime either now or sometime in the next year and a half, it's going to conjunct either your sun, if you are a Libra sun, or your ascendant, or your moon, if you are watching for your moon sign. So that means pretty much that the South Node will try to transform you in a more spiritual way and make you more in service to other people. So that's why I think this is where this Jupiter in your 8th house comes in with all the transformational work. So if you put in the time and the energy to really help and support this transformation, spiritual transformation process, I feel like this South Node conjuncting either your sun or ascendant will be a lot smoother. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you so much, Meg, for your beautiful reading for our Libras. I'm just going to pull an oracle cards to know what Spirit wants us to know for Libras for the month of September. I think I'm hearing your cat in the background. Is that possible?
My cat? I don't have my cat.
Okay. I'm hearing a sound. I thought it was your cat.
It may be the hotel refrigerator.
No. I'm so used to hearing your cats all the time. I'm like, where are they?
I had a tripped out moment there. I was like, oh my God, where's my cats?
So funny. Okay. I have the card for Libras, the Seas of Mintaka, which is known to be, I think, a planet in the Pleiades, which is all water covered. So it says, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. So I think you will be finding new gifts that you are, and you're really seizing the full potential that you hold. So I think a lot of Libras have hidden gifts or things that you know that you're good at, but you didn't have the confidence yet to really step into that role. So I feel like the month of September will ask you to develop those skills and gifts even more, because now they're in a form of like potentiality, but it says bringing them to light. So I feel like lots of you have spiritual gifts that you'll be asked to use even more and to develop. Love
Cool.
that. Oh, thank you, Carrie. The psychic workshop is awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carrie. Appreciate that. Yeah, we put a lot of love into there. And I feel like for a lot of people that have 8th house activities, like the previous sign, Virgo, Libra in the 8th house, psychic protection might be your best friend right now. Thank you so much, Carrie. Appreciate that. Okay, so moving on to our next one, which is Scorpio.
Scorpios. Yes, so for Scorpios, first of all, the Jupiter retrograde is going to be happening in our 7th house for the next 4 months. So this is a good time to review our beliefs in regards to committed relationships, partners, commitments, and court or legal matters. There can be really great inner growth happening for us in those areas of life, deepening our relationships even more, which can actually be one of the challenges for Scorpios, because we can be so sometimes secretive and scared to be vulnerable with others. This Jupiter retrograde is inviting us to get more intimate, even with our closest people, and honest, and develop those relationships even more. And interesting, Spirit's just wanting me to say that if you are a Scorpio that shares yourself on social media, maybe share more of your personal self or struggles, because that can really help people, because Scorpios do go through a lot of intense situations. So that's just a little message Spirit is sharing with me. You could be attracting a new soulmate, love-wise or in business partnership, with this Jupiter retrograde as well. So that's going to be really interesting. Relationships are very highlighted for Scorpios right now, committed relationships. And with the Sun conjunct Mercury cazimi on September 6th, this is happening in our 11th house, the 11th house of Aquarius. So we're going to be getting insights and downloads happening in regards to our goals, dreams, aspirations, social connections, community, groups and friends that we're associated with, as well as activism. So interesting, the Cancers and the Scorpios are being invited to really stand in their power and share their truth, if you guys know what areas of life I'm talking about there. So the Scorpios can feel very inclined to, speak truth, which we usually are, unless there's some kind of block going on there. So you may want to look at that, Scorpio, if you are fearful of being in your truth. Why is that? And maybe doing some work around that. The 11th house of Aquarius is also very connected to ETs and cosmic consciousness. So I think with this Sun Mercury cazimi, there could be downloads Scorpios are getting from the star people, our star family. This could be a new way for some Scorpios to connecting with spirit, because usually Scorpios are very into the occult and, intense kind of practices. And not saying that Scorpios can't be star seeds, because we can, but there could be more ET things that we're feeling, seeing UFOs, connecting to our star family. So that's interesting for the Scorpios with that cazimi. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in our 6th house. So big releasing happening in regards to our health, routine habits that don't serve us. And Scorpio does rule, compulsions and addictions. So being very honest with yourself, Scorpios, what habits do you have? And are there ones that are actually really not serving you anymore? We can release those around this full moon in Aries. That can be really good for that. There could be work changes happening as well for Scorpios, because the 6th house rules our day-to-day work. So leaving a job or leaving a certain position in a job, office changes as well. You can become more empowered in a new way regarding your physical health and routines and day-to-day work. So I think that's going to be the Scorpios around that full moon are going to be feeling it physically, feeling the physical effects, I think, a lot. So drinking lots of water, eating good food, Scorpios, will get through it.
Yeah, it's gonna help you support like the amazing healing energies of this full moon. It's gonna be an intense one. Yeah. Love that. Okay, let's pull a card for the Scorpios out there for the month of September. Whoa. Okay. I like that. Okay, it says, fall into my arms, surrender, healing the opposites, extremes of life. So And it's funny because Scorpio is being such an intense, polarizing sometimes sign. So I feel like you'll have to really take some time to heal yourself. And there's like a mother, I think, with a child in her arms with the water element. So just find like a setup where you can really surrender and feel protected and safe. And really, it's going to help you, I feel, hold this healing energies towards your physical vessel around this time. And also, the other message I have with this card is to confide in people that you trust and make sure you are asking them for support if you need to, because you're not alone. And it says fall into my arms. So it says that you have people around you that are here for you if ever you need help, support, or just to talk with someone. Just make sure you are verbalizing your need to talk if you do. So you are loved and surrounded by like-minded people, Scorpios.
Nice.
Love that. Okay, let's move on to our next sign, which is the Sagittarius.
Sagittarius is Saggies. So the ruler of Sagittarius, planetary ruler, is Jupiter. So Sagittarius, you're going to be having your planetary ruler Jupiter retrograde from September 4th to the end of December of this year. And this Jupiter retrograde is happening in your 6th house. So this is a good time to allow for reviewing and reflection and inner growth in the areas of life of physical health, similar to the Scorpios with that full moon. Physical health, routines, habits, day-to-day work, pets, and office environments. So there can be a lot of growth happening in those Virgo-ruled areas of life, which I feel like is really good for the Sagittariuses because they are very expansive and like to be out in the world and doing a lot. And not saying they don't take care of their physical bodies, because I know a lot of them that do, but it's also important to have some kind of routine or physical health practice, so that when we're out in the world and Sagittarius traveling and teaching and doing all that Saggy stuff, we're in good health. So that is very important. And the Sun conjunct Mercury cazimi on September 6th is happening in your 10th house. So this, with the Jupiter retrograde happening in your 6th house, is showing your work life is really highlighted, Sagittarius. There's going to be work changes or downloads and insights regarding your work and career happening during this time, for sure. And also with Jupiter in your 6th house, that can be blessings, Sagittarius, coming in regards to your work, more abundance or positive opportunities coming in. So that's quite lucky for you. And with Jupiter trine the cazimi, there can be very positive work and professional development. So as usual, the Saggies are having lucky things going on. And with the full moon in Aries on September 29th, this is happening in your 5th house. So the 5th house is one of the good houses to be having this full moon in, because it's going to be a very intense full moon. And the 5th house is about fun, play, lightness. So it's good you can release beliefs and energies holding you back from having fun in life and being creative, which I don't think Sagittarius generally have challenges with, but maybe there is something going on that you need to look at, Sagittarius, any blocks going on regarding those 5th house areas of life. Children and romance are highlighted for you as well. There could be maybe some breakups going on of relationships that are not that serious, because the 5th house is more flings or flirtations, whereas the 7th house is more committed relationships, Sagittarius. So if you've been seeing someone and you know that it's not that serious and you want to attract a soulmate committed partner, might be time to release that. And it is empowering for you to do something fun and playful during this full moon. So I like this full moon for Sagittarius, as intense as it's going to be for everyone.
I do too. And it's funny because our friend Coco on the screen here that works with us, she's a Saggy, and she has a lot of big work changes coming for her. So it does make a lot of sense. And I feel like this full moon in the 5th house is like kind of a reminder also of, don't forget to have fun and to make sure that you're feeling this joy and love frequency throughout those big changes. So let's pull an oracle card for our Saggies. Okay. sometimes I feel like they don't want to come out. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's too many at the same time. Okay, let's go. This one. Okay. So a big card of support, I have the Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. And wasn't it you that got this message really strongly when we did the last Divine Feminine Oracle show, Meg?
I think so.
Yeah, you were talking about the ancestors being here. So it's funny because Sagittarius and the zodiac hold a lot of ancient knowledge. So from previous lifetimes, you know a lot usually, and you are here often as a guide figure for people around you, a teacher figure, mentor, to really share this ancient knowledge. So I feel like you'll be asked to step even more in this role to help guide other people. And with this Mercury Kazemi in your 10th house, I feel like you'll have a lot of downloads on what's the guidance for you from your guides on what's next for you. What's your next step in the future? What are you becoming as a guide or mentor figure for other people? And it doesn't have to be in your professional life, but I feel like for a lot of Sagis, it will be your next chapter. So ask your ancestors, your guide, and try to stay, keep the connection open because you'll have a lot of downloads for that. Wow, I like that.
Nice.
Okay, let's move on to Capricorn.
Capricorn. So we got a few more: Capricorn, Aquarius, and then Pisces. So for the Capricorns, I wanted to just start off by saying something more generally, which is just acknowledging that Capricorns have been going through it, I think, more than any other sign, okay, ever since 2008, okay, because we've had Pluto in Capricorn. And this is a very intense place for Pluto to be. So Capricorns have been going through huge transformational times since 2008. We've got only a few more months left, Capricorns, of Pluto in Capricorn for the second last time. So hang in there, because I know this can be a very intense energy, having Pluto, the planet of intensity, dark night of the soul, transformation, crisis, things being revealed, in your sign in those last critical degrees. So if you're having intense things happening in life, Capricorns, and you've been feeling it for a while, hang in there. Don't worry, because it is going to get lighter for you. I promise, as we get into 2024, whether you're a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising, huge shift for the Capricorns when we get into 2024. Okay, so just a few more months of Pluto and Capricorn, then it's the Aquariuses are going to have to deal with Pluto. So the Jupiter, sorry, I'm just having a sound behind me. It'll go away in a second, but the Jupiter retrograde is going to be happening in your 5th house, Capricorns, for the next 4 months. So it's a very good time to review your relationship with having fun and play and your beliefs around that. Perhaps you can start doing a new fun practice like dance or improv. I know that may sound totally crazy to a Capricorn, going to an improv class, right? Or just attending comedy shows or something that's fun, something that's playful. What's your relationship with fun? There can be inner growth happening during this time in regards as well to your romantic life, children, creativity, confidence, and joy. So I think this is really, really nice, Capricorns. And I may want to take back what I just said, because with the Jupiter retrograde happening in your 5th house, you guys already may be feeling some lightness coming in actually over the course of the next few months. So a lot of the Capricorns I talk to in consultations and that I know personally have gone through very intense, even traumatic life events during the last, what's it been, 15 years, if I'm not mistaken, or around then, since 2008. So let's allow for more fun. It's safe for us to have fun. What are the ways that we like to do that? Jupiter's going to bless us, bring blessings of having fun and bringing lightness and play back into our life. And life is very cyclical. So the Capricorns have been going through one of those very intense initiatory times with Pluto and Capricorn of like big shadow work and initiations and changes. And we're coming out of that now for the Capricorns. So we're entering one of those times of more lightness, fun, and play. So that's really good news that I have for you, Capricorns. The Sun conjunct Mercury Kazemi on September 6th is happening in your 9th house. So spiritual and philosophical downloads and insights can come forward for you at this time. Also important information regarding foreign travel, people, higher learning, courses, or publishing. So that's going to be some big downloads, I think, coming in through the Capricorn, some spiritual or philosophical insights. So very, very cool. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in your fourth house, Capricorns. So the fourth house is ruled by the moon and the sign of Cancer. You may be feeling more emotional during this full moon, which is a good thing because Capricorns need to tune into their emotions a little bit more. That can be one of the imbalances of Capricorn. So let your emotions come to the surface if there are any that have been suppressed, and let yourself express them. Maybe do some emotional healing practices during this full moon to navigate those energies. And your family and home life are highlighted and illuminated during this full moon as well. So, wow.
Wow, important time, especially when a full moon like that falls in one of your angular houses like this one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if it refreshed already. I think we're missing a few comments, but thank you for also following us on Rumble. Thank you to Rumble Rick for becoming a monthly supporter. We appreciate your support. And I just want to mention Soulstar 1111 mentioned Aquarius will have to deal with Pluto. They're like, eh. So I just want to, oh, go ahead, Meg.
Sorry, do you want to say something first?
I just wanted to mention really quickly that usually, Pluto will stay in Aquarius for about 20 years. So it doesn't mean like you're going to be feeling like death and rebirth for the whole 20 year. But usually when Pluto enters a sign, it's where we feel it the most, and when it leaves a sign. So right now we're in the midst of the transition between Capricorn and Aquarius. So a lot of Capricorn are feeling it, but as soon as it shifts into Aquarius, the Aquarius will feel the energy of Pluto reorganizing one of their houses. Did you want to add to that?
I just wanted to say that Pluto being in your sun, moon, rising sign is intense and transformational, but for the Capricorns, I think it's even more so because Capricorn is one of the two malefic signs with Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. So for Capricorns, when Pluto goes into Capricorn, that is very hard and challenging. I think even more so than maybe even Pluto going into Aquarius is for the Aquariuses, if that makes sense. So don't want to freak out the Aquarians. Yes, it's going to be highly transformational. I don't think it'll be as hard as what the Capricorns just had to go through, because both Capricorn and Pluto deal with the malefic energies of life.
But please reassure the Capricorns they're not malefic, because you got your moon there.
No, they're not malefic. I'm a Scorpio moon, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or you would be really, really bad. No, there's a beautiful energy to Capricorn, but they have, let's say, signed up for bigger challenges than most of the rest of the zodiac, because you are here to work a lot and to reach the top of the mountain. It's the mountain goat. So you really signed up for a lot of, let's say, hardships, but beautiful challenges also. Mm-hmm. Okay, so oh, wow. So that's the card for Capricorn, right? We just did Capricorn?
Yeah.
So I have the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. So you know what? I love that because I feel, I don't know why, but the feeling I'm getting from this card is that there's been a lot of hardships, because like half of the portal is kind of destroyed. So I feel like he just went through the ringer with that card. But the blue flame is kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel for me in that card. So it's telling you that you succeeded this big challenge, and you're just about to reach the other end of the portal, and the blue flame is going to activate and help you integrate all of those harder lessons that you just learned. So it's going to help you be even stronger and even more on your path. So there's a lot of beautiful energy coming at the other end of the portal.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. So, okay, let's switch to the Aquarius. Oh, I don't have the Aquariuses.
Yeah. So for Aquarius, both of your planetary rulers right now, Saturn and Uranus, are retrograde. So today, actually, Uranus goes retrograde, and we've had Saturn retrograde. I don't even know how long that's been for. Do you know, Julie? Has it been a month or 2 months or?
Let me check. I'll check on the back.
Aquarius is, so both of your planetary rulers are retrograde. So this can be more of a reflective time overall for the Aquarians, for most of us, because we're in retrograde city right now. But
From mid-June, sorry, Meg. It was retrograde starting mid-June.
Yeah, so from mid-June, Saturn has been retrograde, and Saturn will be retrograde until November 4th, and Uranus will be retrograde until January 27th, 2024. So now we'll talk Jupiter retrograde, which is going to be starting on September 4th, is happening in your fourth house, Aquariuses. So this is a good time to review and look deeply at your roots. I was really feeling that for you Aquarians, which is really interesting. So looking at your ancestral roots in the past, or where or who you've lived with in this lifetime in a home situation. There's something really strong about that, because I was feeling that really intensely for you guys. Inner growth can happen in regards to your family and your home life. Jupiter can bring blessings of renewed positivity if there's been family issues. Okay, so wherever Jupiter is in our chart, we're being blessed. Things are lightening up in that area. So Aquarians, if you guys have been having some family issues going on, just in general, or in regards to what's been going on the past few years and disagreements, there can actually be renewed positivity and energies going on. So I think that's really nice for this Jupiter retrograde for you all. And the Sun conjunct Mercury cazimi on September 6th is happening in your 8th house, the house of Scorpio. So downloads and insights can happen in regards to your hidden self and intimate relationships. Secrets can be revealed. There can be things being revealed about yourself or people around you or situations around you. And hidden money, investments, and inheritances can be highlighted. You may learn information, Mercury, about something in regards to that. And a powerful time as well, Aquarius, is for therapeutic healing practices for you as well, as we're talking about the 8th house, maybe learning about some new kind of modality that really resonates with you with this cazimi. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in your 3rd house. So illumination, release, and empowerment can come up in the areas of life regarding your friends, siblings, local community, all forms of communication, social media, and short distance traveling. And I was feeling journaling can be a really helpful practice, Aquarius, is to navigate this full moon and what you're feeling. Something's going on with your family situation, because I'm even feeling it right now very strongly. So putting some focus there if it resonates with you, and speaking your truth is important with that full moon, because the 3rd house is about communication and truth, and who we've got around us, our friends, our siblings, our communication. So you may be speaking very important things for people to hear around that full moon, which inspires other people to be in their empowerment. And you are Aquarians after all. So you're the way showers of the age of Aquarius. And we need you guys to be showing us that Aquarian way to help us step into it.
Love that. And I just feel like a lot of Aquarians will be guided to move because of this energy in the 3rd house,
Right.
Jupiter changing direction in the 4th house, a living situation. And then we're going to have eclipses in your 9th house. So maybe some Aquarians are going to be guided to move somewhere else, in maybe another country even. So just wanted to share that if that's the case with you. Okay, let's pull an oracle cards for our beautiful Aquarians for the month of September. Okay. Again, we have this one again coming out. The blue flame. So same card as the Capricorns, which is spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. So basically it's telling you that I feel like it's kind of a similar message from the Capricorn. You're coming on the other side of a lot of hardship, and you've been initiated. So that's the word I was looking for, initiated. And I feel like there's a lot of lessons that needed to be learned recently. And it's probably also this Pluto influence that's about to step back into your sign in January of next year. So I feel like you're being activated big time. and you're going to go on the other side of this initiation portal of this big, let's say, challenge. And don't forget that there's a lot of beautiful stuff coming for you as well. Beautiful transformation too, but I feel like a lot of higher vibration timeline is here for you, Aquarians. So
Wow.
I love that. Let's switch into our last sign, which is the beautiful Pisces.
Yeah, so last but not least, for the Pisces sun, moon, and risings, similar to the Aquariuses, both of your planetary rulers now, Neptune and Jupiter, are going to be retrograde. So Neptune will be retrograde until December 6th, 2023, and Jupiter will be retrograde until December 31st, 2023. So you're likely to feel shift when we get into January, around maybe having more energy levels. After that, you could be feeling more tired than usual with your planetary rulers both retrograde. And the Jupiter retrograde is going to be happening in your third house. So reviewing and inner growth is happening with your friendships, Pisces, your siblings, your local community, all forms of communication, and social media and short distance travel. You may be called to connect more with your local community. And I was really feeling for Pisces, your magical gifts, maybe your healing gifts, you're feeling to come out from behind the scenes and share those and show yourself as the magical creature that you truly are. Because Pisces to me are just these total magical creatures like mermaids and fairies and wizards and stuff walking around. You guys are so cool. So showing yourself and sharing your gifts, communicating about what your gifts are, can be coming up with this Jupiter retrograde for sure. And you could be more inclined to go to social events. I think it could be very blessed to go to social events, being around like-minded people, not isolating so much, which is interesting because with retrogrades, it's usually more of, being on your own or reviewing, but this Jupiter retrograde is happening in your third house. So being around people, socializing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sun conjunct Mercury Cazimi is happening in your seventh house. So another house that's about other people. This is the house of Libra, others, committed relationships, partners, love relationships, the courts and legal matters. So with this Sun conjunct Mercury Cazimi in your seventh house, you can receive great clarity in those areas of life. There can be downloads coming through about your really committed relationships and what your values are with that. Or if there are any legal matters that have been going on, Pisces, there can be clarity coming up with that, which is very, very good. And the full moon in Aries on September 29th is happening in your second house. So the house of Taurus, illumination and releasing of blocks pertaining to money, abundance, your values, resources, beauty, and pleasures of life. And I'm just hearing like Spirit say, you deserve to be abundant through being your magical self. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, Pisces. So with this full moon, maybe you want to look at that if it resonates with you. This can be very empowering to connect with your self-empowerment because it's a full moon in Aries. And you're one of the 3 water signs, Pisces, so you're feeling a lot of what's going on, all around us. You're such good feelers. Aries, though, is about the present moment and self. So where do you need to come back more into self? And are there any places you need to take your power back? So it can be a really powerful full moon for those things.
Wow. Okay. I love the energy for our beautiful Pisces. Let's ask the universe to provide us with a message for the Pisces for the month of September. Wow. Okay. I have 2 cards that seem to want to come out. So first one is get grounded, empath, highly sensitive, connect with nature. So I think it's a nudge here with what you were just saying about Pisces being so empathic, so sensitive, and feeling everybody else's energy. So a big important message here, I feel, for all of the month of September for Pisces: get grounded, spend time in nature, make sure you are like this strong tree rooted profoundly in Mother Earth to really make sure you're not absorbing anything else that's not yours or needed right now. And the other one I got, which really wanted to show itself, was the Age of Light. So it says, you've been training for this for lifetimes. So I agree with you, Meg. Our friend the Pisces have a gift, and they are being asked by the universe to share it during the month of September. So really, you are being called to be like a light guide, to really show your light even more. And it's going to help inspire a lot of people, because you are so magical, like you said, very tuned in into other dimensions, other star systems. So you are being asked to shine your light even brighter. You're going to help a lot of people with that. Wow. Oh, thank you so much, Natasha. My favorite show. Yeah. And thank you also to we have Flower Deb that's given us a rant on Rumble. Love you, ladies. You are doing great. I am an Aquarius with Leo Moon, Taurus rising. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us. And just before we end this beautiful show, I have to share another screen. Wow, this is getting complicated because I can't share my wheel and share other stuff at the same time. Doing my best. So I just wanted to help remind all of you, these are general predictions, of course, done by the beautiful Meg. And thank you so much, Meg, for going through the 12 zodiac signs. I know it takes more time, but I know you guys appreciate it. So let us know in the chat or in the comments if that resonated, and if you like this formula of the new Astro Woo. We are trying our best to help you benefit from all this beautiful astrology knowledge, to help you navigate these times of change in the best possible way. And if you would like, of course, more personal predictions, and if you would like to ask your questions to Meg regarding your astrology, either your birth chart or the transit coming ahead for, let's say you have a specific question in mind or a specific period of time you'd like to look into that. So you can book right now on MaisonJupiter.com. And don't forget to enter Beyond Mystic in one word to get 10% off your next reading with Meg. And how far ahead are we looking at right now, Meg, for your future appointments?
October. I've just added some new availability from more beginning, middle of October.
Perfect. So not too long. You are very lucky indeed if you want to book, because usually it's like a 4 or 5 month waiting list for Meg. So if you'd like to get a reading in the fall, if you are, let's say, a Libra and you want to get your year ahead with your solar return, that's the time to do it. And also, I would like to mention, if you would like to book your personalized birth chart and try to, let's say, start this astrology journey, you can do so on Maison Jupiter. And this is a digital art print of your own personalized birth chart in the color of your choice. And it comes with a 15 to 20 pages report explaining your most important alignments. Wow, we did it, Meg. We went through all the 12 zodiac signs. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for your beautiful comments. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Carla, putting this wonderful show for us. Appreciate it. And we got a couple of, what's the word I'm looking for? Super chats.
Super chats.
Super chats. Thank you so much for your super chats and your rants on the Rumble side. And Libby says, awesomeness, Julie and Meg, articulating our reality so well. Thank you, everybody. I feel like I was feeling all of your energies, and it was very supportive to get through this long show, but I think very important information indeed. So thank you so much, Meg, for going through all the 12 zodiac signs. Thank you for everybody watching. Did you want to say something before leaving?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I know you gotta go, so I'm trying to wrap this up as quickly as I can. And anyways, I'll see you tomorrow for the Divine Feminine Oracle show at 7 p.m. Eastern. So talk to you very soon, and au revoir, everybody.
Love you guys. Au revoir.